Hey, Keval Prajapati here, and I want to talk about Spider-Man Far From Home because it's a piece of shit. It's not good. I know this review is coming a little late, but it's mostly because I couldn't figure out a way for me to tell you why I didn't like this movie without spoiling it too much. Spoiling it too much. Hey, I'm learning English. Spoiler warning to anyone who hasn't seen this movie yet. Also, Rotten Tomatoes somehow gave this movie a 90%, which is blowing my mind. So I don't understand why 90. If you gave it a 60, I get it. 90, really? I also got started reviewing movies because I have a deep and passionate hatred of Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe I'll do a video explaining it in the future. I'll put it on my to-do list. But yeah, in the meantime, let's talk about Spider-Man Far From Home. So, Spider-Man Far From Home is a sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming, a joint venture between Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios. This is also the last movie in Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's also the last movie within the whole Thanos storyline thing. Now, I'm one of those people who really enjoyed Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I also really like Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker. But when I saw Spider-Man Homecoming, Tom Holland totally blew it out of the park. And I was like, that's exactly what I wanted Spider-Man to be. And he does it again in Spider-Man Far From Home. He does a great job. He's completely believable. He gets the mannerisms down. I know some people complain that this portrayal isn't very comic book accurate, but you know what? I'm perfectly fine with it because the original Spider-Man comic was written in '62, and yeah, a lot of things have changed since then. Now, Jake Gyllenhaal is also in this movie. He plays Mysterio, aka Quentin Beck. Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. He also does a great job in this movie. The origin story of Mysterio is also great. It's updated. It's brand new. I might sneeze. No, false alarm. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. So Quentin Beck. He's dope. I like the new take. I love how they kind of made Mysterio not only just one person, but kind of like a group of people, and the way that they brought is just great. Like if either you love or hate the MCU and the whole Marvel superhero stuff, what they're doing with villains and bad guys is great. They're actually giving them a proper backstories. Bad guys aren't bad because they're bad. They're bad for a reason, and I really like it. And they do a good job in this movie as well with the motivation that this character has. It's believable. Yeah, and the small little people that's helping Mysterio out, they're all like part of past, like they're all minor characters, like super minor characters in past Marvel movies, and them doing this, like bringing them back in and giving them a bigger role, kind of really makes it feel like a universe and make it feel like it's one whole thing. So you might be saying, Keval, you're saying great things about this movie. What are you complaining about? Well, I don't have a problem with the characters in this movie. My problem is the writing. Like, it kind of feels like the writers were brainstorming. One of them went to use the bathroom, took some toilet paper, wiped himself, looked up and go, hey, that's interesting. Let's do that. Now, the events in this movie, they don't feel natural. You know, they don't feel, they feel rough. It feels like a rough script. It feels like this was a rough draft. And the people at Marvel read it and was like, yeah, it's good enough. You want some examples of this unnatural feeling thing? Yeah, I got examples for you. Here's a hot one. A few of these are hot. Some of them, anyways, I'm rambling. There isn't a reason why the whole crew is going to Europe. It doesn't make sense. They say it's a summer field trip, which is weird. I never heard of a school doing a summer field trip. If there are out there, I don't know what kids that would actually want to go, you know, spend a summer, a couple weeks or a couple days with their teacher, like an extra days. And like I remember once I went to a mall and I saw a teacher and it felt weird. You know, like I can't imagine wanting to go on a vacation with a teacher. Sounds kind of creepy. Also, again, there's no reason to be in Europe. Like it kind of felt like the studio didn't want to do yet another Marvel movie in New York, which is perfectly reasonable. Like, yeah, that's a little repetitive, but it could have been anywhere else in America. Like, it didn't really need to be in Europe, you know, unless they want to like make it exotic feeling, and it's a sequel, so it needs to be bigger, it needs to be better. So they go to Europe, but it also totally could be like the studio heads just want a free vacation or something to Europe, so they do that. They do that in Hollywood. It's pretty much why Adam Sandler still makes movies. It's just for free vacations. Another thing that was off in this movie, Peter Parker's spider sense, it's just gone. They don't really give a reason why. I think we all collectively just thought that it's just Peter dealing with Tony's death, and so some of his powers get messed up. But they don't really say that in the movie. And they also just bring it up in the beginning when Aunt May throws the banana. And then it goes away until the end, at the final fight scene, and it comes back, and it's like, oh, I got it back again. But we're like, what? It's what? No. Like, it's kind of clear that they were trying to just nuke Spider-Man's ability. And, just... Because if your hero can sense danger, it's not very exciting. Which I'm totally fine. They happened in the original X-Men movie series that Fox did. They always kind of got rid of Professor Xavier somehow. If it works, it works. You know what I mean? In this case, it doesn't work because they never bring it up again until the end. Like they talk about it, it goes away, and then it comes back. Like, you kind of got to bring it in a little bit. At least in the X-Men series, like X2, for example, Professor Xavier is kidnapped and he's like shot up, and he's like hallucinating and stuff. But at least like it's part of the story, right? Like they have the guy's son come in, and it's all part of the plan to kill all the mutants in X2. In this, it comes, it goes, and it comes back, kind of like Captain Marvel in Endgame. Yeah, it was a flaw in the storyline, and they kind of just have to get rid of it because it kind of messes things up. Some evidence, more and more evidence of this just being Marvel, covering their ass with bad story writing, bad script writing. What? I know English. The scene from the trailer with Spider-Man in the armored spider suit, and he's beating up all these bad guys. In the clip in the trailer, he's clearly using his spider sense to sense the other people coming and punching them out and stuff. They probably have to cut that out of the movie because it doesn't make sense. Like, it's Peter's using his spider sense in one scene, and then he doesn't use it in the other scene. It's just off. Now I want to talk about Nick Fury, because the dialogue for Samuel Jackson is just terrible. It doesn't sound like Nick Fury from any of the other movies in the MCU. Now, of course, in the end credit scene, we learn that this wasn't Nick Fury, and there's some very obvious clues. There's some very obvious clues that there's something going on with Nick Fury in this movie. And, like, okay, but why is it in the end credit scene? Like, the end credit scene is like extra bonus stuff, or a teaser for the upcoming movie projects, or just something to get people hype, or just like a little Easter egg or something. It's just something bonus. It's not part of the actual movie. Like, it's in the end credits. If you ever watch the MCU stuff on Netflix, the end credit scenes are not even in there. So, like, people don't consider it a part of the movie. And when I went to watch, the whole theater pretty much emptied out. There was like only 5 people left, including myself, who were still watching the end credit stuff. So, like, what? Like, why would they leave it to the end? They could have easily incorporated it, unless this was just a rough draft and they fucked up. The last thing I want to talk about is the pacing. The editing in this movie is just off. I shouldn't say editing, because it could also just be the writing and the directing. Editing is a weird thing, but it's just off. The pacing is completely just terrible. An example is the whole bus scene, like that whole situation. Like, he gets the glasses, he's trying it out, right? It's all cool and stuff, and then we go into He stops to use the bathroom, but it's actually Peter getting the suit because the driver's in on it too. And then like why did they stop? Because they just went back into the bus, and then he almost kills Flash. It's it's just messy. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have to stop for Peter to pick up the suit. The only reason why they did that was to get that Brad guy or whatever his name is to take a photo of Peter. But even that doesn't make sense, right? Like, who's this guy think Peter is? Like, how much game? Because the guy took a photo, thinking that he was gonna sleep with this woman. Peter was gonna sleep with the woman. He's gonna show Mary Jane. But they just got there. You know what I mean? Like, how quick of a game, how good of a game does this guy think Peter has? He clearly doesn't have any game. And then they just go back in the truck, the bus thing, and then he does the drone thing that almost kills Flash, which is clearly just setting up the whole drone thing at the end of the movie. And that's all it's for. It's just to set that up really awkwardly and messy. Like, I feel like that can be done way better, and they could have just like done it with one location. They didn't have to be in two locations. Sneeze is coming. Nope. Wait. It's like there. Excuse me. So let's get back. Where was I? I was talking about the editing. There's now Marvel movies in general. Like, I don't like when I review them in the past and when I watch them. I don't really blame the editors. I don't really blame for the pacing and stuff because I know the turnaround in these movies are very quick. Like, even some of the CGI isn't done properly. They're notorious for that. Like, we all know that Civil War fight scene where Iron Man's suit is clearly not rendered completely. And we all kind of forgive them, and I forgive them as well. But this was just weird, and it's just like, they could have easily fixed this, And there's also like one cut in this movie that was so bad. Like, everything else is like fine, like it's ignorable, it's passable, it's fine. But this one cut, it was at the end of the final fight scene with Spider-Man and Jake Gyllenhaal, sorry. Peter's walking down this hallway, like he's like obviously at the end of the hallway, he's walking and he's talking, and then they cut to a close-up and he's clearly just standing there. What the hell? Where's continuity and stuff? It felt like a huge chunk, like a couple seconds was cut out of the movie, or maybe a couple frames or something, But it was jarring. It was weird. It didn't feel natural. It was a mistake. It was so clearly a mistake, and I was enjoying the fight scene too, because the fight scenes are still pretty dope. Like Marvel knows what they're doing with fight scenes. So I was enjoying it. And then this cut happens, and it just completely takes you out. Like, it's a really bad cut. Really bad cut. And another thing that really just kind of like pushed me over the edge with this movie and just made me go, what the fuck is going on? Was the end where Aunt May goes to pick up Peter Parker. Tom Holland totally glances in the camera. Looks straight down the barrel. And it's just weird, like, how does no one notice? Script supervisor didn't notice, director didn't notice, cameraman didn't notice, the DOP didn't notice, maybe the editor noticed, maybe he didn't notice, she didn't notice, I don't know who it was. It's just, it's clearly down. Like, was that the best take? Was that why? Like, they didn't notice it in shooting, so in post they were like, oh shit, it's the best take, no one's gonna notice because it's the last 5 minutes, so who gives a shit? Which totally could be possibly it, because a lot of people don't notice this stuff. So yeah, that's my take on Spider-Man Far From Home. I was really disappointed, which is sad, because really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I really like Jake Gyllenhaal. I hope to see them again. I'm still going to watch this Marvel movies. I'm still going to watch Spider-Man 3 whatever comes out. But like, I don't know what's going on. And if this is how they're wrapping up Phase 3, I'm kind of worried about Phase 4. Like, I was already kind of, nervous with the whole time travel thing. Usually when movies like this and genres like this bring time travel in, it kind of ruins everything. They they already bring Captain Marvel, and it, like, I don't have a problem with Captain Marvel. It's just that they don't know what to do with her. She's too powerful, and so in the Endgame they kind of just got rid of her and brought her back, which doesn't make any sense at all. You can watch my video on it. Maybe it's an end screen, maybe it's a card. I don't really know yet. But yeah, like it makes me worried on where this is going, and I kind of feel like Phase 4 might be the last phase for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I hope not. I'm enjoying these movies. They're great movies. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see pretty much. So if you like this video, if you like this review, make sure, you hit subscribe, hit the like button, share it with your friends, because I don't have a lot of viewers. So it'll be kind of nice. If you watched Spider-Man Far From Home, and if you liked it, if you didn't like it, let me know in the comments down below. I completely blocked the light, covering my face. Sorry. I had to record this 3 times because, shit goes wrong. But yeah, anyways, that's all. Till next time, I got some cool videos coming out other than reviewing, other than superhero stuff. I like other movies too. So yeah, stick around. I got some cool things. I got some interesting opinions. And yeah, let's make it a thing. Let's make it a thing. It'll be fun. I think it would be fun.